All right, everybody, we have another attack coming from the radical left that you need to hear about. And this one is kind of old, but it's actually picking up steam. This is HR 2870, and this attacks not just 18 to 20-year-olds, but our own servicemen and women after they have come back from overseas. Aaron, what is going on with this bill in D.C.?
Yeah, 2870 is kind of that standard middle finger to the young Americans right now. If you're 18 and 19 or 20, they're saying you simply can't own most modern firearms, especially the dreaded AR-15 or other center fire shotguns and rifles. And so you're old enough to pay taxes. You're old enough to be in the military. You're old enough to, buy a house. You're old enough to, buy a car, go to college. You're old enough to be treated as an adult in every other way, get married, have a family, all that. But if you think you have the right, son, to own a center-fired rifle or shotgun that has a detachable magazine that holds over 5 rounds of ammunition, well, Uncle Sam, Joe Biden, has news for you. That would be a criminal offense under H.R. 2870.
This is, guys, quite dangerous because, before we thought, well, this could never happen. This would infringe too clearly on the Second Amendment. But just remember, it was only 2 years ago this summer that 25 legislators in D.C. between the House and the Senate helped Joe Biden and Kamala Harris and Nancy Pelosi pass the Safer Communities Act. That bill caused a 3-day waiting period for extended background checks for anyone between the ages of 18 and 20 to buy an AR-15. So they've already done it once, and they're here to do it again. Aaron, let's show them a little bit of the bill. Let them see exactly how in your face the government is to 18, 19, and 20-year-olds.
Yeah, here's the bill right here. It's on congress.gov. I encourage you guys, if you want to go to congress.gov and set up a free account, you can monitor these bills on your own as well. You simply punch in the bill number you want to follow, hit that button on the left-hand side, get alerts, and you'll get alerts right to your email account. But yeah, it's HR 2870. That's they call it the Raise the Age Act of 2023. And, sometimes we see bills that have one sponsor. It's kind of a statement bill. It's kind of an FU bill, to the American people, to the Constitution. That's not what this bill is. This bill already has 124 co-sponsors. Here's a list of just some of the co-sponsors on this bill. It has hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of legislators who have supported this. And Alex, you made the point earlier. I have to hit this again. I mean, what they're literally saying. Well, actually, before I do that, here's what they're literally saying in the bill. I'm gonna get ahead of myself.
Exactly.
Yep. Prohibition on federal firearms licensees selling certain semi-automatic center-fired rifles or shotguns to persons under 21 years of age. The red line down beneath there, that says that you cannot sell any ammo to anybody who is not 18 years of age. And I want to just stop there for a moment. I will not be okay with throwing up my hands and say, well, it's just a different world than we used to live in, because that's how it was when I grew up. Well, bullshit. Our Constitution, our freedoms do not change with the times, despite what the radical left judges want us to believe. And I remember not that long ago when I want to say I was like 13 years of age, growing up in Northwest Iowa, there was a retired guy in our little hometown. And the guy was like a regionally known waterfowl hunting expert. The guy was one of the best of the best, and he liked to reload shotgun shells. And so I would go shotgun, skeet shooting a lot of times with, family, friends, whatever, in the evenings. And then I'd bring the empty ones back to my neighbor. I would bike on my bike because I couldn't even drive. And he would reload the shotgun shells, and I'd pay him. I think I paid him $2.50, for a box of reloads back then. And that would make him a freaking criminal these days. And that is their whole point, to demonize our behavior, to demonize our culture, and to make everyone get used to believing that you can only buy it through a government, only buy it through a dealer, only when you're 21 years of age, and on and on and on it goes. So the first thing is the ammo registration or ammo preclusion. You have to be 18 years of age or above. And the big one then is paragraph B down beneath there. Any semi-automatic center-fired rifle or shotgun that has the capacity to accept an ammunition feeding device that exceeds 5 rounds, that the licensee knows the person has not achieved the age of 21. So that's the whole point. Any center-fired rifle, center-fired shotgun that has a mag that holds over 5 rounds of ammo, it'd be a felony offense to sell that to somebody who's under 21 years of age. So, Alex, your point, your point just, I'm not a military veteran, so I can't say I have a firsthand rage about this, but I know tons of my friends who are, and what we're literally saying with this legislation is that your life has enough value to defend it when you're 18, 19, and 20, when you're overseas.
Yep.
We'll have Joe Biden will send us to hell and gone all over the globe, and he'll pull us out.
Pull you out. Yes, exactly.
Yeah,
pull out and leave all the center fire rifles and shotguns for our enemies. Don't forget that.
So your life has value if you're helping to perpetuate Joe Biden's foreign policy. But when you come home to Joliet, Illinois, or Tacoma, Washington, or Savannah, Georgia, or freaking Houston, Texas right now, you don't have any right to defend yourself. And that's what's so damn infuriating about this bill. And it's absolutely unconstitutional. Your life is defendable if you're working for Uncle Sam, but not on your own. And I was thinking about this before we went to this video, Alex. I began my political career working for Iowa gun owners, and always very proud to have this photograph that a bunch of IGO members from the National Guard troop who were at Bagram Air Force Base, they called one day and they said, hey, one of our guys is home on leave, and we would love to get a banner from Iowa gun owners, take it all the way back to freaking Bagram and get you a photograph of this banner. And I was like, absolutely. And I remember asking them, like, how old are a lot of these guys? Well, a bunch of them were a little bit older, and a bunch of them, the majority of them, were under 21 years of age. And here's this photograph. I love this shot. It's from somewhere around 2010. And I don't know most of these guys personally. I know a couple of them there very well, but those guys in the front right, they don't look very old to me. The guy kneeling down, he looks really, really young. And so, for Uncle Joe, you can carry an AR, but you come home, you've done a tour, you've done a 2-year tour, you come home, you're 19, you're 20 years old, you marry your sweetheart, you have a kid, a year later, you're not quite 21 yet, you live in a rough part of town, you want to buy an AR, they're going to say, no, you don't. And if you want to try, it's going to be a felony offense. That's what they're trying to do. Again, it's to destroy our culture, our way of life, our Constitution, our freedoms, and the whole thing makes me sick. And not for nothing, it violates the Bruin decision 100% from 2 years ago. So, Alex, this is not just about ARs, though. I mean, like, there's got to be plenty of other firearms out there besides an AR-15 that's center fired with a mag.
Yes, there are. And I'm surprised the press doesn't talk more about this, because there are so many different guns out there besides the AR-15 that surely the left is thinking about when Joe Biden's dribbling ice cream down his chin. This is what he's actually thinking about, is this very dangerous centerfire magazine-fed gun known as the Remington 760 pump action 30-06 deer rifle. Yes, folks, owning this gun under HR 2870 at the age of 19 years old would be a crime. You could not own this gun. That is how absurd this is. But it also makes it very clear that they are not attacking so much the people. They are attacking the gun, and they do not want us to have this gun because that they know that tyrants cannot stand us having this gun.
We're hearing about the amendment too, Alex, on this. The amendment that we're hearing, and this is somewhat tongue-in-cheek for everybody, so I'm just going to give that one. We're hearing that the amendment they're going to file would to make this a felony crime as well, because this is, after all, a semi-automatic magazine-fed. Heck, it's even got a pick rail on the side and the bottom.
It's got a barrel shroud.
Yeah,
it's got a barrel shroud.
Shroud. It's got some kind of a collapsible or detachable butt
shoulder thingy that goes up.
It's like more lethal than a pistol brace. It's less material. I mean, like, this is literally how insane these people are, guys. And so, again, hit the link beneath the video and sign your petition so your congressmen and senators know where you stand on this. Alex, a lot of times we hear from people. I mean, you're in Georgia, for example. You've got 2 raging commies as your U.S. senators, and some people will say, well, what is the point in taking action? I know that, Charles Schumer, I know that Chris Murphy, I know that my senators here in Georgia, for example, are not going to listen to me, but that's just not the case, especially in an election year.
Exactly. And the reason that the Democrats need to hear from you is, as Aaron just said, as we've been talking about, it is an election year. Now, they would wholeheartedly pass this and every host of gun control they could if they thought they could get away with it.
Right.
But there's a very real chance where Republicans take back control of the U.S. Senate.
Right.
And John Ossoff and Raphael Warnock are afraid that they will lose what they so desperately want, and that
Right.
is their majority power. So they would much rather this bill never come to the floor. And so signing your petitions and making your phone calls telling them to don't you dare do this will then pressure them to call Chuck Schumer and say, don't even think about bringing this
Don't
freaking
bring it
bill
up.
up because we're going to lose our majority if you are that stupid. And you know what? We'll play off of that. We'll absolutely use that to our advantage, as we should. And I sit right here in Georgia, and I've got Warnock and Ossoff. So as pointless as it may
and the
feel,
flip side of that coin, though, I think, Alex, too, is that there's no pass on reaching out to Republican lawmakers either, because all we've seen as gun owners for the last 2 years is a litany of betrayals, one after the next after the next. You mentioned when we began this show about the Bipartisan Communities Safer Act, the mega gun control bill that Biden signed into law 2 years ago. That only happened because he had approximately 25 Republicans between the House and the Senate that crossed over the aisle and voted for it. And so, and right now we have a big gun control bill in Congress, H.R. 715. It's a national gun registry. The lead sponsor is Republican Brian Fitzpatrick from Pennsylvania. So there might have been a time where we could trust in party affiliation to dispense with, gun control like this. Those days are gone if they ever were legit in the first place. And especially these days with a 1-seat Republican majority in Congress, almost anything goes right now in DC. So if you have a commie lefty, reach out to him. If you have a weak-kneed Republican, reach out to him. If you have a strong Republican, reach out to him. Just remind them, hey, this fight or this bill is out there. Be aware of it and sound the alarm to your friends in your Republican conference. So either way, take action. It is an election year. It's going to be a crazy one. No one knows what's going to happen. Trump is going to be likely be the nominee. There's all kinds of legal entanglements. We don't know what's going to happen, but make our voices heard. Keep the pressure on high on these Democrats. We'll keep you guys informed. As always, share our video, hit the link, sign your petition against this. Chip in $10 if you can. We'll keep you guys informed and stay free.